Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians have found. Let's hang out. And let's listen to 2 lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Hang Out, the podcast that's here for some pillow talk. From the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida.
From the West Coast, I'm Leigh Holmes Foster, and I apologize for Ellie.
I know, I tried really hard. It was not good. To those of you who have been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. And if you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. And here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And the first thing I want to talk about is we are going to be doing a live show at Klexicon. We would love to see you there. We're going to be doing a live Should Have Been Gay. It's going to be so much fun. And we are also just excited to be at Klexicon in general, so we hope to see some of you there.
Come hang out, please. The other thing that we want to talk about is some of you might know a little someone goes by the name of everyone's fairy gay mother. That's right, Dana Piccoli, who you have heard on this podcast before and may hear again in the future, who knows. Not only will she also be at Klexicon, but she also has a book coming out, which everyone should check out, because who does not love a little lesbian romance? Nobody, that's who. So Savor the Moment is coming out March 14th. I think it is available for pre-orders now, but you should go find it. You should go read it. It sounds great. It's going to be telling the story of Natalia Chambers, a singer-songwriter who's had her heart broken in the past, and she is going to find her groove again thanks to pastry chef by the name of Maddie LeDuc. So I'm sold.
I'm into it.
I hope everyone else is. So we can't wait to read it. We are super, super excited for Dana, and everyone should check it out.
Awesome. And in the greater Les universe, the trailer for Queer Eye just came out, and they're going to be doing their first lesbian makeover, which I just think is amazing. And I wouldn't mind being made over by a few gay men as well. So you know where to find me, Queer Eye.
There you go. Do they though?
I don't know. Do they? I'll let them know.
We'll let them know. We also want to shout out Samantha Mugazia, who was named Best Actress for Rafiki at the FESPACO Film Festival. You have probably heard us talk about Rafiki. It was a movie out of Kenya this year telling, again, a lesbian love story. It is supposed to be amazing. I am still waiting for when it will be available for us to watch it, but we love seeing it get more good press like this. So congrats to Samantha and congrats to everyone involved with Rafiki.
That's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Leigh.
Thanks, Ellie and Leigh. We are so excited to bring you episode 14 of season 2, I Can Go the Distance. And we are so excited to be joined by Sarah Rotella and Adrianna DiLonardo from the Gay Women's Channel.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you very much for having us, and we apologize. There are cats in here right now, and she keeps yelling. So
honestly, that's the best gay intro that we could possibly ask for.
She heard.
Thanks for having us. Sorry for the cats.
I'm here too.
She knows. She senses you're doing something.
Yeah.
She's
I love the pillow talk intro attempt. You guys have to do it at the same time, but slightly off sync.
All right, let's try it again, Leigh.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Yep.
Pillow talk.
Not good.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's better. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Better, yeah.
We might just
Ellie
use
tried.
that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's your new intro.
when we did ours, it was like a one-hit wonder, so it was first attempt.
Yeah, I'm sure it
pretty
was
good.
first time.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We can't all be that good. We can't. So, Sarah and Adrianna are the co-creators of the Gay Women channel on YouTube. They are the filmmakers, writer, director behind Almost Adults and Nobody Famous. And you've probably seen them in bed on Pillow Talk. Who hasn't?
Who hasn't seen them in bed? I love it.
Who hasn't seen these two ladies in bed? Am I right?
Amazing. Well, Sarah and Adrianna, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Gay Women channel for those who might not have seen it, which is probably not very many people who listen to us.
I would imagine
Pretty
not.
much similar demographic.
Sure. It is a comedy scripted channel for women and LGBTQ audiences. We do parodies, sketches, digital series, and a segment called Pillow Talk, where the two of us give very bad, like not professional advice.
Yes, about being a gay woman.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good disclaimer.
Because you
I
are
like it.
you are both gay women.
We are
correct?
both gay women, correct? Yeah. Since we named our channel the Gay Women channel, we weren't able to do that big, I'm gay
Coming out
video.
yeah.
So yeah, we really blew that opportunity. But
But could you imagine if we weren't gay women?
That would be huge. I think it'd probably go even more viral.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I'm also going to say, no, I just always assume everyone everywhere is gay, and I can imagine literally nothing else.
yeah. I want people
True.
to come out as straight now.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
Yes.
wonderful?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing a fake, coming out video on your channel?
I think we had talked about it actually to do, because I remember I think it was a couple years ago, it seemed like there was a lot of really big YouTubers that were doing the coming out videos. And we were like, oh, it'd be funny if we did some kind of parody of it and tell everyone that we're gay, even though
Yes.
we've been doing this for 5 years. But we were like, no, we don't want to do it in bad taste because it's really important that people are coming out and, showing that it's normal and all of that. So we didn't end up doing it. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
It has actually been running since when? Forever and ever ago?
Our channel?
When did it actually, when did it launch?
we did
2012?
we did a web series in 2012 that was called The Unsolicited Project, and it had nothing to do with queer women or anything. It was just a web series about assistants in Hollywood. And then we did a video called Gay Women Will Marry Your Boyfriends. And then it went viral, and we were like, wow, people like gay things, and we're gay. Let's keep doing that. And then so that's kind of how the channel started. And I think we've been doing the Gay Women channel since 2013.
Shh,
Cool.
don't give away the secret.
Yeah,
then
people like
everyone's
gay
going to want to do gay stuff.
People like gay stuff.
Yeah, what?
That's amazing. And you both just recently moved to LA. You were in Toronto.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What's the biggest difference between LA and your Toronto?
I'm
Well,
going to
Gay
say the
life.
same thing.
the weather?
The weather.
That's the biggest
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
There are ice storms happening right now.
Yeah.
In LA?
No.
In LA, yes. It snowed there was a minute of a flurry in LA, and everyone
Yeah.
posted about it.
Everyone freaked out. You know what? It's funny because you can tell that there is a difference living in the United States compared to Canada. Even though LA is kind of a bubble and it's very progressive and to be gay is totally fine here. When we moved here, we drove across the country and we did the northern route. So we were hitting states like Nebraska and Iowa, and we were it was night and day. I was we're hitting the Bible Belt, and it felt I was don't tell anyone we're gay. We're sisters. No one needs to know. It was pretty eye-opening being in those states.
Yeah, especially in Nebraska. My my ex-girlfriend is from Nebraska, still has family out in Nebraska, and we went together. God, must have been the summer after we graduated high school or something. And they were all so nice, but no one knew what to do with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just I don't understand this whole thing happening here. Yeah, it was a different kind of place.
And like Leigh and I are I'm from Boston, which is a very progressive city, I would say, for the gays. But we're both from like the Northeast, which is very different. And my ex-girlfriend was from South Carolina. What is it about? Like, we're like, let's date people from really conservative states.
Yeah, right.
And it was the same, like very, very different experience.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? It's because all the gay people from those states leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And come to the cities.
Yeah, because any gay person you meet in the city, they're like, I'm not from here. I moved here from Alabama because I had to, right? No one's like born and raised in Toronto or LA.
Yeah, they're like, I moved here from Alabama in 1998 and I've never been back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel like we envision, this is the same way that we, not living in Toronto or LA ever, envision that like there's just like this group of like YouTube lesbians who just like hang out in like one section of Toronto and LA.
You all live in a commune.
Yes. Is that sort of the experience, or are we just like creating a utopia of it?
I definitely think we all like know each other and like have heard of each other and watch each other's content. I don't know if there's one place we all hang out per se.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. So if you go to like a convention, and even if you've never met another, like a different channel or a different couple or whatever, you just like see each other and you're like, we know each other.
You're like, hey, Adrianna, what's up?
And like,
You've never had a conversation ever before, but
also Toronto, I think there's like the Carmilla girls and stuff like that are in Toronto, but isn't like a huge, I guess, lesbian community or YouTubers like LA. Like LA has all of them, so we kind of felt like a little separated from everyone.
I really want the Carmilla Girls to be like a cool band.
Called the Carmilla Girls.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how good a band name would that be?
I like that a lot. Yeah.
I feel like everyone gay in Toronto, we just tried to get on our channel.
Yeah, I think we probably got
like
everyone.
That's where we all hang out, on the Gay Women channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I feel like you created this idea of us being like, oh, all the Toronto lesbians just live in the Gay Women channel.
Live in your bed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Amazing.
We're not mad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot. We are here to talk about long distance relationships, though.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to talk about the Gay Women channel, but this episode is going to be about long distance relationships and why lesbians love them.
Or at least wind up in them often,
are
right?
always in them.
Yeah, I think every lesbian has been in at least one long distance relationship, for sure.
Yes.
You're not a lesbian if you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're taking your card away.
Yeah. Well, you have 2 short films and a bunch of videos, like pillow talk videos and stuff about long distance relationships on your channel. So how did you come up with the idea for, I think the first one was the texting one, correct? Yes. How did that come to be? What was the inspiration for that?
I'm trying to think of like what the inspiration was. Like, I've been in a long distance relationship, but it was like
real life,
a real life long distance relationship. Yeah. It was also like a long time ago, so I feel like it's very different than it is now. Now, like it's almost like you have a relationship with your phone. So that's kind of what I wanted that video to be, where it's like all the times you like aren't connecting with one another because you're either misinterpreting things or you're just like having this relationship with your phone. Even though I wasn't in a long distance relationship at that time, I was like, this is kind of how I picture it to be. Because like when I was in one, it was just, we weren't texting. It was like on the phone 24/7. Like,
you have to pay for a calling card.
Yeah. It was
We're aging ourselves, you guys.
Yeah.
In 1945, when I was in
we had a rotary phone.
Someone was like cranking it. There was a little guy in the corner, like making sure it was working.
Yeah, there was a woman behind the phone connecting wires to the right place.
A long distance relationship was like a city over. It was like, wow, a 15-minute drive.
All the neighbors could pick up the phone and like eavesdrop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Back in my 1930s long distance relationship.
I literally see that one sequence from Bye Bye Birdie. Yeah. So how far away was that long distance relationship? Like, how far were you apart?
It was like a 5-hour drive. So it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like you had to fly back and forth, but it was far. And it was in college. So it wasn't like I was stuck at school and she was stuck at school. So it was like we could see each other a couple times a month. Not a couple times a month, like a couple times a year, basically, or a semester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've all never been busier than when we were in college.
Yeah.
Back when you had the weight of the world on your shoulders.
It really did feel like that, though. It's my birthday today, and I'm like 27.
So old.
And it's so old. I feel like this is the first year that I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, college was stupid. Like before, I feel like I was like, college, yeah. And now I'm like, wow, I was an idiot.
God, we all the time, when I was teaching in grad school and I used to teach like a first year chem class, and you'd get these kids coming in being like, I was up all night doing all my homework. And I'm like, remember college when like you literally had nothing to do and people just like fed you and like you didn't have to clean anything ever. And like life was just
one test you had to study for and 5 minutes. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, God, it's just, sounds
but
rough.
I'm very gay, and I was on the golf team at school, so we had tournaments every weekend. So like I was like stuck there. Otherwise, I probably would have been driving every weekend.
Were all the women on the golf team who were lesbians in long distance relationships? Was it something everyone was doing, or was everyone just like dating on the golf team?
Yeah, there is a lot of that. There is a lot of like collegiate like dating between the teams, dating on the teams, dating other people that are in sports. It's just like that's where all the lesbians are. You're like, how are you going to find them? You're like, go to the softball team. There's going to be 10 of them.
You're like, we can't date on the golf team, so let's expand to the softball team.
There's only like 6 girls on the golf team, and you're like, I've dated them all already. I need to expand.
I was going to say, like, where did you go to college? Because I feel like there's not even that many that had golf teams.
I went to school in Ohio. I went to Youngstown State University in Youngstown, Ohio, which is also very different from Toronto.
All your Youngstown listeners are like, woo-woo, penguins!
Yeah.
All 5 of them, yeah.
The other 5 girls on the golf team.
Actually, my girlfriend was on the golf team.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so gay.
It's so gay. It was like half of my golf team was gay.
I don't think she was gay, or she wasn't out when she was on the golf team, but she was on the golf team.
My wife and I met on the diving team.
Divers!
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow, yeah,
we're not
a
divers.
niche. A niche within a niche.
No, and what's funny is we had like the worst ragtag team of like none of us had ever like been off a diving board before in our lives, basically. But somehow we ended up with a diving team of, I think, like 5 of us, and like 4 of us were gay. So
wait, so did you just all join the diving team because there were other gay girls on it?
No.
And then you were like, oh, I guess I could try to dive.
Just belly
Spoiler
flop.
alert, I could not dive. No, it was like it's a long story how I ended up there, a long, stupid story that should never have happened. Kelsey joined because of me. I'm totally calling that. She likes to dispute this account, but I'm just saying I showed up at a diving class that she was in, that I was not in, and she then decided to join the diving team after going home and Facebooking me, so
Okay.
Weird. So she joined, and then I talked my roommate, who was also gay, into joining, and then I think the coach talked a couple more people into joining from the class or something, so.
All right, I feel like we have to dig into the big why for lesbians and long-distance relationships.
Really quick.
So why?
Sorry, before we get into this, can we pause? Can we pause?
Yes, we can.
I'm pretty sure our cat did a giant dump, and it smells so bad. If it's in the living room, I wouldn't be surprised. But it has seeped into the bedroom, and it smells so bad. I'm so sorry. She's going to clean it right.
It's horrible.
I just want you to know this is going to be the best, gayest outtake ever.
Yeah, no, oh my God, don't even cut it out. Leave it in. I remember the first time we did a live stream when they just came out, our cat took a crap and then some of it got stuck to her butt and she started like sliding her butt along the floor and we were like live and we were like, what is she doing? That was such a story.
Is your solution to just close the door? That's good. Just keep it out.
I'm like spraying the ground.
just keep rolling.
I'm so glad that happened because I was like, how are we going to get through this?
I was like, I can't do another hour. This stinks so bad.
I knew she was going to be trouble.
I know.
Oh
Okay.
my God, I can't.
So what you're saying is lesbians are in long-distance relationships, so they don't have to deal with the smell of each other's animals
Right?
shitting in the house.
Yes. that would be it.
Gotcha. A very informative educational moment just happened.
If we want to turn this into a lesbians and their animals episode, which we don't have to, but quick aside.
This could be split into 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, right.
It's like, forget long-distance relationships. We're actually just going to talk golf and pets. That's it.
And, well, I'm a dog lesbian and my girlfriend is a cat lesbian.
Oh my God. How are you together?
I know. It's like it's a classic case of opposites attract,
Yeah.
with everything about us. Literally
You
everything.
basically are a rom-com. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do you guys need a script? Because Ellie's got one.
Yes. But she came over to my house the other day with her cat and my dog. They're scared of each other. So every time, literally if the cat's in the doorway, my dog won't leave the room. He can't go past the cat. It's just oh my God, we're gonna have to work on this.
How big is your dog that he's scared of a cat?
He's a puggle.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's bigger than the cat, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Leigh, let's
Okay,
go
sorry. Let's
back
try that
back
again.
on track.
Back on track.
So, long-distance relationships, why don't we go through what you think are the top reasons that lesbians cannot stop ending up in long-distance relationships? In LDRs, what do we got?
I mean, I think the most obvious reason is that people can't find lesbians in their city. So, they take to social media and Tumblr and dating apps. And, you open that dating app and you're the closest one's 100 miles away. And you're like,
Well, I guess
that
that's
will
my
do, So I feel like that is probably a very big reason is that, and I have a friend that lives in Saskatoon and she's like, I don't go to bars. I don't go to lesbian night events. And she's like, so, I mean, the only way I'm going to start something is if I find someone online. And that person might be very far away.
You're giving us the reasons, A, that lesbians are in long-distance relationships, and B, why lesbian bars keep closing.
Yes, 2 reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all your friends' fault.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, you also do have a good amount of, we've talked about this before, of anxious gays,
Yes.
right? Who have social anxiety or are introverted.
Yeah.
So it honestly, I feel is just easier to communicate with someone long distance, especially since we're connected through our phones. And then, yes, to meet them. Have either of you ever met a girlfriend online?
No.
No?
You sort of.
Adrianna will answer for me. Me, sort of. Yeah.
What does sort of mean?
Through Instagram, she's met someone.
No,
That's
I've met
online.
somebody on a dating app.
I don't know anything about her. Sure, I guess.
Through Instagram, they DM'd you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You're we're not going to talk
I
about
guess we
that.
won't talk about it. She doesn't want to talk about it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I haven't actually. I haven't met anyone online.
You haven't even gone on an online, a Tinder date or an online app date?
No, I've searched through her, which is because it's just strictly for lesbians.
Yes.
And that was still I wasn't into it.
You just feel weird going meeting someone that you've never met.
Yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
I don't want to just find someone based on a picture I like. I want to be introduced through a friend of a friend. I'm I want someone vetted. My friend knows it'll be good for me, and then they'll set me up. So that
makes sense.
I'm very lazy when it comes to that.
Have you had success with the friend of a friend?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I think when you're saying lesbians are lazy, it's the same reason you date someone on your golf team as you start a long distance relationship. It's they're here, it's convenient, it's probably not a good idea, but I'm not going to look elsewhere.
That's true.
Yes.
And as soon as you find that girl online or through a dating app, even if they're far away, you're well, I found her. I don't want to keep looking.
Yes.
That just made. I remember I've been in 2 long distance relationships because I did the one while I was in college, and then after college, I was dating someone that I went to college with, but as soon as I graduated, and then we were apart, and that didn't last very long. That lasted a couple months because that one was like, well, we're never going to be together, so why are we continuing this?
You like mentally blocked it, and now this
podcast
like, is bringing it all back.
I'm very emotional.
Like, I remember that.
Okay, while you were in that long distance relationship, what do you think was the biggest challenge? Like, what was the hardest part of being in a long distance relationship?
Okay, so remember, this was 50 years ago. But the hardest thing, it was like in 1936. It was jealousy and like not being able to trust that person of like, what are you doing and where are you? Also because like, it, we didn't, wasn't like texting constantly or being able to FaceTime someone. It was just like trusting that person when they're like, I'm just having dinner alone. And then you're like, on Facebook, it said you were out at the club. So
do you feel like that's better? Do you feel like that's better or worse now?
Being able to trust someone?
Because of like all the people that are available to you online.
Yeah, I don't know. Better we've all gotten at hiding shit online.
Yeah, that's true.
Have we?
Yeah, it almost feels like harder to hide stuff online now because you
put everything online.
You have Find My Friends on your iPhone, and if you're like, why did you stop sharing your location? It's just like, it's so difficult.
Or even like on Snapchat, if like people are on the map, like you can see their little like faces hanging around. You're like, why were you here? Yeah, I don't feel like you can hide things.
Yeah. Also, too, like when I was in that long-distance relationship, I was, like, 22 years old, and I was a very jealous person. And now that I'm, like, 32, I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm so much less jealous than everything. Yeah.
You're, like, looking at your Finder, you're like, she's at the club, whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, as long as I didn't have to get dressed, sounds good. Yeah. Have fun.
Yeah. I'm binging my show.
Hey, I'm gonna go home with this girl. You do you. I'm starting another season.
I'm tired. That's what your third is.
I have 2 episodes of One Day at a Time left, and I am not leaving this couch. Yeah.
That is so funny. I was in a long distance relationship that, similar to you, we dated in college, and then we were long distance. And I don't know if you subscribe to love languages at all.
No.
Like, do you know what those are?
No.
Okay, so
break it down, Ellie.
This is a thing that I think is so gay, and I thought like most lesbians did it. There are, I think, 5 love languages, and you take this test to tell you what your love language is. They're quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts are the 5.
Okay.
So for me, my like number 1 is physical touch. So it's just like long distance
not gonna work.
Is not, It's like just very, very impossible. Yeah. I mean, it did work for a while, but it was just like really miserable.
Yeah. For
me. So I feel like there's a certain type of person who can do a long distance relationship better. Yeah. Right? Like those people who like their number 1 might be words of affirmation. Like if someone texted you every morning saying like how much they love you, you're like, that's all I need to like feel validated in this relationship.
Yeah.
But like for me, it was like, I need you to actually be here. Yeah. Or I need to have like a stand-in. Like I would be like, just so you know, like this is my gay male friend and like there's no sexual attraction here, but I need a snuggle buddy, so I'm gonna sleep in his bed tonight. Like this is how it works.
We will be taking this quiz after this podcast.
Yes.
Now I'm curious.
You have to take it. I feel like it's like the kind of thing where like I'll ask that on a first date, like every time. Like what? Because it's actually really important when you're thinking about like compatibility with another person.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like I know what I would be, but I don't know. Not physical.
It's still good to take it, I feel like.
Okay, what about you, Sarah? Have you done a long distance relationship?
I've only ever done one when I was in college. And I would
back
never.
In also 19.
Yes.
36.
Yeah, when you can't. There was no FaceTime yet. And like I haven't done one since, and I would never do one again. And thinking back on it, I'm like, man, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have done that.
Same. I feel like I wasted my 20s like doing a long distance relationship. And I think too at the time it was like I had just come out. I really wanted a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend. Then I went to college, and I was like, I'm not going to find another girl. You're the only other lesbian I've ever met. We have to stay together.
Right, exactly.
But now I'm like, oh my God, I wasted like 3 years to like doing that.
I find it, at least at the time when I was in a long distance relationship, when you would fight or there would be any kind of like conflict, it was really, really hard to resolve being physically like apart. And then it just kind of snowballs. So something that's really not even a big deal turns into something that you're fighting about like 2 weeks later, you know? So that was like the thing that was the hardest for me.
That makes sense. Because you feel like you have to wait till you're together to fight.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah. And then you're like, we only have the weekend and now we're fighting about this time you didn't text me after you had dinner. Like,
Ellie kept a log.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you for.
yeah.
But does that mean I'm the only outlier who's like successfully
Never been in a long distance relationship?
We did long distance for years.
Where were you though? How far apart?
Yeah, I mean, not like super far, but we did Mount Holyoke to Dartmouth, Mount Holyoke to Boston, and then Boston to Dartmouth for like 3 years.
How far is that? That's New Hampshire,
it's like
right?
2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, what constitutes a long distance relationship?
Yeah,
then?
that's true.
Yeah.
It felt like long distance.
I mean, that's definitely long distance. That is definitely long distance. I agree with you.
It's not like you need a plane to get to see each other, though. That's fair.
Yeah. Like, how often were you seeing each other?
I don't know, a couple weekends a month or something. It depended on how busy we were.
Sometimes I feel like people who live in the same city see each other a few weekends a month.
Right?
But we're lesbians, so that feels like, oh my God, we only spent like 10 days together this
Like,
month.
what, one of you lives in Jamaica Plain and one of you is in Cambridge? I mean, like, who can even get that far? Like,
Exactly. So I get it. What types of long distance relationships can work? Like, obviously, yours. Right? No, well, I'm just saying, like, what are the factors that make it easier to work?
well, one of them had me in it, and that helped.
I feel like one of them has to be, there's an end date in sight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're like, we're going to do this for a year, we're going to do this for 2 years, but eventually we're going to be together. I know there are couples that they're like, we've been in a long distance relationship for 10 years. And I'm like, that's crazy. Maybe you should move on. But if it's working for you, fine. But like, yeah, I feel like if there's an end in sight and you're like, let's just do it until then, it's going to suck until then, but at least then we'll be together. Then, I don't know, it helps a bit.
Well, and
Just get back together afterwards.
You find someone new and you're like,
and then it wasn't meant to be.
I guess.
And do you think it makes a difference if you start long distance or like start together and then move to long distance? Because I feel like that's a big difference too with people who meet, people who now like are starting their relationship like on Twitter or on Tumblr. Like, that's a very different thing to, like, start it without ever being in the same place.
That's true, too. Yeah, I think if you are in a relationship and then you do long distance, you're like, okay, well, we love each other and we put in this much time, then, like, there's no point breaking up. Again, maybe if there's an end in sight. But also, I feel like people that maybe start long-distance relationships, like, just starting them, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they haven't been in a lot of relationships, They're like, this is my first or second relationship, and I just really want to be in a relationship, so I'm going to date this girl that lives in Germany, and I live in California,
I think maybe that also ties into what you're saying about, like, trusting someone when you're long distance, because if you start your relationship long distance, you're like, well, she just met me on the internet, like, she can meet thousands of other women.
Millions! She doesn't care
true.
where she dates someone in the world.
Right.
Yes.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give them the coziest scuba matching set, the real gift is this. And this. And this. This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give a gift that goes beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at lululemon.com.
But I do think it does go back sometimes too, though, to the type of person, like the type of person that you are, and like the type of like how you are socialized. Because I do feel like I would venture to guess that introverts are far more likely to start a long distance or online relationship than extroverts. That might be just like a broad sweeping generalization, but
that's also just a lesbian thing. Like if you guys are DMing girls online, like everyone's really open and you're talking and you're flirting, and then you meet a lesbian in person and you're like, hey.
It's so true.
And
like,
you're like, where's the girl I was like
where's
messaging?
the funny smart girl I was messaging? And you're like,
yes. Wait, have you seen, I think Amanda Holland actually made a short about that. Did you see it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was honestly cracking me up. I was like, this is so real. They're like they're like having a better time texting each other, sitting next to each other than they were like talking in real life.
Yeah.
But that's also, it's so true though. Like phones, technology, like everything that you can do. Like, imagine the difference now between 1936 when it was like, bro, let me call you up and dial your phone number, versus now where you're like, oh my God, there's filters and there's GIFs and there's FaceTime and there's what are the weird, like, unicorn face, like, what are those things called?
Emojis?
But the ones
or like talk
yeah, that like talk, like the ones that talk with your voice, like, and there's like all sorts of crazy stuff that you can do that like doesn't exist in reality, you know, like.
Well, and also now there's an entire MTV show called Catfish because you can have a 5-year relationship with someone and find out it wasn't them.
Yes,
So,
and when it is them, I'm so surprised.
I am, yeah.
I literally watched an episode where it was them I was taking a plane the other day and it was actually the person, and I was on a plane by myself and I wanted to like talk to the guy next to me and be like, can you believe
You're like, this is not why we watch this show.
Yeah. No, that's a rare occurrence.
It was so rare. Yeah, it was amazing. But how do you think that technology has made long distance relationships different? Maybe like easier?
Easier. It's definitely easier. Like when you can FaceTime someone whenever, wherever. Like, I think that face-to-face also helps a lot more than just talking to someone on the phone or just, like, texting someone. And especially because you can talk to them at any point whenever you want. Unlimited, whenever you want. That definitely helps. Instead of, like, be home at 6 and I'll call you.
I have two important things. One of them is the whole unlimited thing is, like, the first phone bill that my wife and I had when we started dating, and it's not unlimited. And we did not realize that, like, nights and weekends on opposite coasts did not matter. Like, we thought it depended on, like, who called who. It did not. But my counter argument to that, though, is no one talks on the phone anymore. Like, is that something that's different in long-distance relationships? Do people still talk on the phone? Because I feel like no one does phone calls now.
No, but I feel like they just FaceTime instead, though, right? Like, they'll text or they'll FaceTime because it's like, I want to see you. Unless you're extremely introverted lesbian and you're like, no. And you're catfishing them. So then you're
like, can we just keep texting?
Unless you're an introverted lesbian or a 40-year-old living in, like, Miami. 40-year-old man in his basement.
I don't know. I talk on the phone a lot, but I also think that just comes to the fact that I like to talk, which is why I have a podcast. But I like every time I'm in the car driving somewhere, I call a different person. So I talk on the phone like pretty often.
See, I like talking on the phone. I just feel like no one else ever wants to be on the phone. Maybe that's why you and I get along, Ellie.
We're all aging ourselves by saying we like talking on the phone.
Yeah, the kids these days don't talk on the phone.
Yeah. All your young listeners are like, what? Why?
I decline every phone call.
You can talk into that thing? What?
Straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
And your voicemail is, hey, just text me.
Oh, God. Do we think, though, that, like, being connected all the time, maybe it's better for long-distance relationships, but what about, like, being present with the other people that you're with?
Yeah. No, I absolutely hate being connected all the time. Like,
I thought you were going to say
it's
present.
so stressful. You know, like, my mom will text me, and if I don't text her within 5 minutes, like,
Something
she's calling,
happens.
and then she's just like, why don't you text me back? And I'm just like, because I'm out for dinner. Like, leave me alone. Like, why do I have to get back to you all the time? And I hate going out with other people, and then they're just on their phone the whole time. And you're like, why are we hanging out?
And then God help the apps that like give the read, like if you have A, read receipts turned on, like you're a monster, and B, like the people who are like Facebook Messenger, and you're like, why do you turn the little check mark blue? I don't want to know. It's like, it's a nightmare.
Thanks for ignoring me for 4 days.
It goes both ways. But yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of long distance relationships too, like you can tell when somebody is online but not talking to you. Also, I think, Leigh, did you write this? But I want to talk about it.
I totally did, but you can bring it up. That's cool.
So they have long distance sex toys now. Because we haven't really talked about
Didn't have those in 1936.
The physical aspects of long distance relationships. I mean, I guess you could just do it the old-fashioned way.
Just good old phone sex.
Yeah. But we also have more technology available to us. There is literally a Bluetooth vibrator that you can control and your partner could be using. Isn't that crazy?
I know lesbians that aren't doing long distance that still use that. Like when they're at work and you're like, why?
What? You know someone?
Yeah, you do too.
I do?
I'll tell you after.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to find out who's doing that.
Who is it?
I only know a handful of lesbians.
Right, who could it be?
But yeah, it's crazy.
So does that change the game, though? Does that change the equation of making it work.
I mean, why would I even have a girlfriend here if I could just do all of that?
Then, like, what? We're just gonna have robots soon. Like, are you even dating a real person at that point?
Yeah.
I feel like everything is online.
Yeah. And I guess also, like, you have to think, like, that there's definitely... It's definitely not a replacement for actually being with someone. Like, I feel like it's maybe a nice thing to, like...
It's a good perk.
Bide the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for sure, not the
a
same.
good perk while one of you's at work. That just sounds distracting. Like, I feel like they're trying to make it sound sexy. And I'd be like, I'm in a meeting.
You're going to be like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I could say they work together so that they know it's happening.
What?
They told us, you know.
No, I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know who this is.
Now, everyone, if you include this, everyone can guess.
I'm like, I know. No, I don't.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
So scandalous.
How did you hear about those? I've never even heard about that.
I'm just going to type it for age.
Okay, wait, you'll get to see my reaction, but no one else will. I don't remember that, but that totally makes sense.
Yeah,
our listeners will have to live with the mystery. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're
So
like,
you know
how
what?
many letters did Sarah just type?
These people are not together anymore, though, so one of them was not doing a good job.
At the
robot
controller.
vibrator.
Yeah.
And I think the general takeaway is there's literally an app or like someone made a tech breakthrough for everything. Like for everything. Like forget long distance sex toys. Like what's the one that's been all over Twitter the past week where it's like, are you in the mood? Like you hit a button and if your partner's in the mood, they hit a button. And that way neither one of you has to initiate sex without knowing that the other one is also in the mood. It's like, it's insane.
Isn't that just saying, hey, do you want to have sex? And the person's like, okay.
It doesn't tell them unless they also hit their button. Right?
Oh.
But then you would also know. Because if it didn't tell me, then I know you didn't hit the button.
Right.
But then, like, okay, so say I hit my button.
You're like,
first.
I'm hitting the button all day long, girl.
Okay,
Meet me in the
let's
middle
imagine
here.
you and I
Like,
are
you've never
together,
hit the
Ellie.
button.
I hit my button, and then I'm like, I'm in the mood, but your button wasn't lit up, so I didn't know anything. But then when you're also in the mood, you hit your button, and you're like, oh my god, Leigh's in the mood, right? Do you see what I mean?
Yes, I
Right.
get it. But it's still
I mean,
weird.
I am going to say it's like the most nonsense, like, does this need to exist kind of thing? But of course it does exist because everything exists these days.
It's like this technological rabbit hole
Yes.
that we keep getting deeper and deeper in.
Everything to avoid communication, apparently, is what's being invented.
Well, and it's also
Yeah.
I live outside San Francisco, right? Everything is like that out here, where they're like, a new invention, we're gonna make Ubers, but they're big and it's a lot of people on them and they go to set points, and you're like, it's a bus. You invented a bus again. Like, stop it. It's just a really expensive bus. Why? Why are you doing this?
It's called Party Uber.
Yes.
Exactly. We got fun
man.
lights, and you're like, it's a bus. It's cool.
It's a bus.
So yes, everything is like that. We're just sort of like digging deeper and deeper into like, what can a tech bro pretend that they came up with?
Yeah.
And in this case, the answer is wanting to have sex.
I've used the like old person kind of app where there was this app where you could set like an alarm clock, but instead of like your alarm going off, someone from around the world would call you on the phone.
What?
It was a wake-up call service where, you could be like, I want to be woken up at 5 a.m. And then someone somewhere in the world would be like,
whoever
Sarah
logged
wants to be
in.
woke up at 5 a.m.
Well, it wouldn't say who it
Or it
was.
was like, at this moment,
and
right?
you wouldn't see the number. So if I logged into the app and I was like, I want to call someone, whoever's alarm was like coming up next, it would just like, you could just automatically call them and be like, hey, what's up?
That sounds so
It didn't
creepy.
last long.
That
It's
sounds like
very-
the start of a lesbian long-distance relationship.
Right?
I'm pretty sure on the creepiness scale, it's like that, and then the only thing above that is like how Amazon now wants to like get into your car. But like that's
Instead
about
of
it.
getting into your house?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like the only people, like, you know who's not using that service is women. Like, it's just men.
Well, I mean, it's a good party thing. That's when I would use it. You're at a party and you're all like, let's
oh,
wake
you're like,
someone
let's make
up."
someone call us. Or,
It's a new prank call. I like it.
It's like the prank call that they ordered. Yeah, it's good.
yeah.
They asked for the consensual prank call.
Hey, consent is important. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
We've done so
Pat on the
good.
back.
All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about in terms of long distance relationships?
I think we've pretty much covered everything one could ever hope to know about long distance relationships in a very straightforward manner as well.
True, we didn't go around. We didn't have any asides.
We did a great job. Good work, everyone.
Yeah.
I like that I had to do this weird thing with my hands that no one on the podcast will be able to see.
Well,
We see it.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we sign off, let's talk a little bit about what else is coming up for the Gay Women channel. What are you working on right now?
I always let Sarah lead this because she's much better at talking about this stuff. I'm like, we're doing videos.
So we have a few projects in development right now. There's some that we can't talk about yet because they're really early, but Queer Eye is coming back, I think on March 15th, and we are doing a lesbian parody of Queer Eye called
Queer Pal for the Straight Gal.
Nice.
Amazing.
So that's coming out like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we're
So
excited.
that's our like bigger video that we're doing.
That's actually our first video back in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, we took a bit of a
So it's
break.
So you took the break for your move and also to work on some films, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah also shot like a short that's premiering in London at the BFI Festival.
At BFI Flair in March.
Yeah, which is the LGBT festival in London, England, which is really
Cool.
cool. And then that short will eventually get released on
the channel.
Yeah. And it's got one of the girls in it was on it, Big Brother Canada, and she's like a lesbian, and she's like 22. She's super awesome. Her name's Erica Hill, and she makes me feel so old. I see her on like Instagram, and she's like promoting a party she's going to, and I'm in my pajamas already, and she's 3 hours ahead of me. So
Amazing.
yeah, so we've been, but mostly like all the projects that we're coming up with recently are like a lot of short films that we're going to be putting on our channel.
Cool.
Yeah.
And not new stuff, but can we also plug the movies that you've already done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Almost Adults, our first feature film, is available on Netflix in, I think, 13 countries. They're all, like, English-speaking countries.
Yeah, some of our listeners may be familiar with some of the people
Maybe
in
for
it.
Almost Adults.
And then Nobody Famous is our second feature film, and it's available on Amazon Prime Video in Canada and the U.S.
Awesome. Great. I think it's timely.
Is it time? Okay.
Yes. It's time for our Q and Gay.
Q and Gay.
Our favorite segment we like to close our episodes with. So Q and Gay are a couple questions. They're very straightforward. We will ask you. They're either yes or no or multiple choice, and then we put them up on our Twitter so that our listeners can answer as well. So.
Okay. Since there are two of us.
We'll yell over chocolate.
Do you want us to
answer.
How do you want us to do it? Okay.
You can both answer, but yeah, do maybe one at a time.
But if you disagree, you have to fight each other. So.
To the death.
Like physically, so no one else can see it.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So, should I let you take it away, Ellie?
Sure, I'll start with the first one. All right. Question number 1. This is based on Till Least Do Us Part. Have you ever lived with an ex after you broke up? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Sarah's like, oh my god, all my hundreds of exes. I must have lived with one of them.
Rough. How was that for both of you?
It was terrible.
No, it's not a good idea.
I slept on the couch.
It's such a bad idea that we made a series about how bad of an idea it is.
It was also when I was much younger, and I would never do it again.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe she'll take me back.
Yeah. I have also done that. It was very rough.
Yeah,
very rough.
very, very awkward.
Yeah, you're like, but we've already paid for the apartment, and it's so cheap.
Yeah.
We were broke.
Definitely a millennial problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question 2. What is the furthest long-distance relationship you've been in out of the following 4 choices? No distance, over 50 miles, over 500 miles, or over 5,000 miles apart?
Oh my God. What's miles in kilometers?
It is 1.6 kilometers to a mile. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. I think over 500 is when I was in school, I think.
Wait, what was the middle 2 options?
50 miles or 500 miles or 5,000 miles?
Probably between 50 and 500.
Okay.
Good thing this isn't a rapid fire.
They're going to cut it,
There's
so it is.
calculators
Yeah,
involved.
it's like so
bad with the conversions.
It was
I'm
this.
sorry. I didn't
Great.
plan for Canada.
Leigh. All right.
That's okay. We live in Los Angeles. I should know these things, but
Yeah, it's something you'll learn now.
it's a very American thing, though. When people are like, "Oh, it's like a quarter of a mile." That's how everyone talks about how far things are, and I'm like, "How far is that?" I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
It's
I honestly don't
2
think
miles.
we really
I'm like,
know
what?
either. So
No one in
it's
Canada
fine.
says like, "Oh, it's just 2 kilometers." No
Yeah,
one.
everyone says it in time. We're like, it's 5 minutes down the road.
Or
No
like
one says it how
or
distance.
blocks, like how many
Yeah.
blocks.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? All right, question number 3: would you use a long distance sex toy? Yes or no?
Yes. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why
Try
not?
everything
But
once.
at work
Try once.
or just
Not at work.
Not
no.
at work.
No.
okay.
And not if the cat's in the room.
Not if the cat's in the
Or
room.
if the cat has shit in the room. That kind of puts a damper
Or
on the
if the
mood.
cat has taken a massive dump.
Question 4. Which of these lesbians have you dated? A, the lipstick lesbian. B, the closeted lesbian. C, the feminist. D, the best friend. Or secret option E is all of the above.
I have dated the best friend and the lipstick.
I've dated everything except A. So no lipstick. No.
Nice. No lipstick. All right. Question number 5. What's your favorite pillow talk topic? I'm not going to say it in the voice because it's so painful. A, gaydar. B, straight girls versus bisexuals. C, tops versus bottoms. Or D, lesbian sex tips.
Tops versus bottoms.
I was going to say
think.
tops versus bottoms.
Because it's like, what is that?
You guys are so in sync. I love it.
Actually, what is that?
Right? What is that? Is that it? Are lesbians tops and bottoms?
In that video, it's just you hold hands, and whoever's hand is at the top, the more dominant, you're the top.
Yeah.
That's it. Easy.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now we never have to talk about it. I feel like we always are talking about it, but never have come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Like you always talk about it with your friends, and you're like, I still don't know what I am because it's what is it? Yeah. And remember, you can give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A on our Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
And speaking of our Twitter, where can everyone find you both or find all of your stuff on the social medias or online?
We are at Gay Women Channel on Twitter and Instagram.
You can just search the Gay Women channel, and it will take you everywhere.
Guys, we're so popular. If you just Google it, it's going to come up.
Well, I think we're the
Especially if
only
you just
Gay
go
Women
on YouTube.
channel.
You're the only thing there.
We are
basically.
the only Gay Women channel. And it's funny because when you type it in, people are like, the Gay Women's channel, the Gay Woman channel, the Gay Woman's channel, and you see all of the ones people have typed in trying to find us.
And they all get
They all
every
go
single
right back
one.
to
You show
us,
up,
so-
yeah?
You can't go wrong. You can't not find their channel on YouTube.
Yes. We're super excited. You will be doing an Instagram story takeover the week of this episode.
That's right.
Sometime this week.
Should we say every day and then you can pick it?
Oh, yes, for the podcast?
Every single day.
Every day. You'll see our boring lives.
Amazing. You'll see a lot of their cat. Sure. So make sure you follow us at Les Hang Out Pod on Instagram to see that Instagram story takeover and send us any questions that you want to ask Sarah and Adrianna.
Thank you both so much for hanging out. This has been a blast.
Thank you guys for
Yes,
having
this
us
has
on
been
your show.
awesome.
It was a lot of
Thank
fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet other queer ladies.
Yes, it really
Yeah.
is.
And this is how we're used to doing it over the internet, so.
It's over the internet, exactly.
Yeah.
We're only a Snapchat filter away from every other lesbian encounter.
Are we dating now? Maybe. I don't know.
Oh my God, did we just start an LDR?
I'm gonna let my wife know. She'll be okay with it. It's fine.
You're like, it's only online.
It's a platonic long distance relationship.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 we're gay.
We love hearing from you and building our community, so we want to shout out some of our favorite things from each episode.
This week, we want to shout out a really, really sweet email that we got from one of our listeners out in London. You know who you are. We get emails like this from people that are still in the closet and just want to let us know that this is a place where they feel like they can come and just relax and hang out with us. And that is exactly what we have always hoped and dreamed that this podcast would be. So we just wanted to say thank you and shout out not just you, awesome listener who sent us that email, who we are not mentioning by name because we try not to say names when people tell us they're still in the closet, but also to everyone else. If you are in that same position, we just want you to know that we hear you guys, we see you guys, and it means so, so much to us to hear from you.
Yes. And Leigh also wrote a very beautiful response that I saw in our email, and I started crying when I saw what you wrote back. So it's really awesome. It's why we do this. So Thank you to all of you. And we are so happy that we can be that for you. We also want to shout out Leigh for being...
That's not how I wrote this.
Because Leigh's awesome. No, for being a guest on Hey Beautiful. You have heard Kate on our Should Have Been Gay 16 for How I Met Your Mother. She is one of the co-hosts of Hey Beautiful. And Leigh was on her podcast to talk about the episode Third Wheel. So check out that episode of Hey Beautiful if we have any How I Met Your Mother fans in our audience.
Spoiler alert for why I was invited to guest on that episode. It's pretty gay.
Super gay.
Super gay. So if you like How I Met Your Mother, or if you haven't ever checked it out, maybe it's time to check it out. And if you are a fan, you should check out Hey Beautiful. You could start with the Third Wheel episode. I mean, if you were looking for a place to start, that's somewhere you could start.
And of course, we want to thank our top tier lesbian Jesus patrons: Amy and Ellen,
Kayla Kelly,
Lizette Stye,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jess Klaus,
Danny Griswold,
Michelle Ray Thomas, and our newest lesbian Jesus patrons, Sarah Anderson and Julia Damberger.
And Mark Foster. Thank you so much to all of you and to all of our patrons who help us make this podcast a reality every week.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or you can check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Make sure that you subscribe on whatever you use to listen to your podcast. That way, as soon as new episodes are up, they will be available for you to listen to.
We're also going to be posting every other Thursday on our YouTube channel this season, so please make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod.
If you want to support the podcast, there are so many ways that you can do that. The first one, it's free, it's easy. Hop on iTunes, find us, rate us, and review us. We love reading the reviews, and also it helps new people find the podcast.
You can also support us on Patreon at bit.ly/lespatreon. We are now offering ad-free episodes for all of our Patreon subscribers at as low as $1 a month. So do that at bit.ly/lespatreon.
If you would rather support us by decking yourself out in some cool Let's Hang Out gear, you can check out our TeePublic store. It is at bit.ly/lesshop, and we have all sorts of fun designs. You can get them on a ton of different items, on tees, on tank tops, on totes, on mugs, on whatever you want, and it's all there. So check it out.
Or you can donate to our Trevor Project page at bit.ly/lestrevor.
If you want to follow us individually, the best place to find me is on Twitter and on Instagram. I am at LSH Foster.
And I am at Ellie Brigida on Instagram and Twitter. And with that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.